My girlfriend hid the truth about having a son, and I don't want to be a dad. My girlfriend Emily and I have been dating for 6 months now. 2 nights ago, she sat me down and told me that she had something to tell me. Emily said that when she was 16, she was in a rough situation and got pregnant. When her baby was born, her parents had an agreement with Emily's sister that she would raise the baby until Emily had the means to get him back. By the way, this comes from Confused in 00, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So Emily worked hard to graduate, get a job, and have her own apartment, and finally got back in contact with her son. She's been doing weekly visits and has his own room at her place. We mostly either go out or hang out at my place. And while I see her often, she does say she has family stuff if she's busy. Soon he'll be moving in full time, and they're both really excited. In the past, they had done counseling sessions with a child psychologist so that he could come to terms with everything. And according to Emily, he's very well adjusted. They have a good relationship. He's got a clean record, and he is doing very well in school. She asked if I would be willing to meet him the next day because it's her next visit. I said that that was fine. Oh, that was fine? I don't know. If it's 2 months, I get it. You're probably not super crazy about this chick. But I mean, I don't know. Give some more but I'm a family man. I really can't say anything. Anyways, before I left, she said she didn't want me to feel like she was looking for someone to be her son's dad. She just wanted to be open with me, and since he was such a huge part of her life, it was only fair that I was included because she wants me to be a big part of her life. I asked why she didn't tell me before, and she told me it was because she didn't want to complicate things and so her son's privacy could be respected. She'd made the mistake of letting people know in too early, and it just hurt them both. I really didn't know how to feel when I left, but everything just felt odd. Yesterday, I went over to her house for dinner, and she introduced me to her son. He shook my hand and kept calling me by my last name like I was his teacher. He was very polite and a little shy. Even though he's a pretty stocky guy, he kept trying to hide behind his mom like he was 7. We got along really well and talked about how he likes sports, how he is excited to come live with his mom. Nothing too serious, just lighthearted fun. By the time we finished dinner, Emily was upset because it was getting late. She still hadn't done his homework. They argued a bit, but it was all very light and she was really nice. He struggled a little with his math, so I stepped in to help. We talked about how he wanted to do something regarding science when he was older, and Emily piped up saying that I could work in STEM. He got really excited about that, then bummed again when Emily made him do his English homework. Overall, they had a really good dynamic. When I first came into the apartment, he was shy enough to just be mumbling to his mom, and she didn't force him to talk or yell at him. She just let him cling onto her and mumbled until he was comfortable. Emily gushed about how good he is at sports and said that not only does Emily come to every game, but she always cheers the loudest for him. After he went to bed, Emily said she was really happy about how things went, and she was glad that we got along so well, and I agreed, and we left it at that. Okay, so it was a good experience. I wish in this moment I was a dad. I wish Dad Riley was here right now so he could give me his wisdom about what to think and what to do in this scenario. But I'm going to pretend I'm Dad Riley. Hello, I'm Dad Riley. You were going to be becoming a parental figure, and it's being like taking the role as Spider-Man, because Spider-Man didn't have the choice, but you now have the choice to step in and become a parent, like a good solid force and a good influence on this child's life. And you have to make a decision if you're ready for that or not. It's not the path for everyone, but if you're up for it and you could do it well, dude, it will be a great payoff. But I think you got to sit and ponder about that. And I think we're about to peep into his mind, but that's what I would be worried about in this moment. Seeing Emily last night made me realize that I really do love her, and I'd really be excited to have kids with her. I just don't know if I want this kid. Dad Riley is getting angry. He's a nice kid, and we get along really well, but I don't want to feel like a stepfather. There's just something unique to have raised your own kids and seeing them from day one. There's a lot of baggage involved, even though both of them have tried to work it out. I feel like it'll just keep rising up, but I do like Emily, and her son is a nice guy. I just don't know if I'm ready to enter into it all. Am I wrong in feeling apprehensive? How can I communicate this to Emily? What's a good plan to proceed? We got an update. I don't know. I understand where you're coming at with like raising your own kids with someone. I'm in the bucket is if you want to have kids with someone, you got to start with where they are, even if they have kids, and you have to figure out that dynamic with them. because then it'll help you whenever you have kids with them. I feel like you got to start with this. I don't know, but I've never been a step parent. I've never had to step into a family where they already have kids. I've never had to be into a family where they already have brothers, and I have to figure out how to fit in as a brother. It's the closest I have to that. Guys, what do you think? Now I'm going into the update. I read the comments here and took a lot of them to heart. I also wanted to hear her side of the story, so I texted and asked if she was up to it and if we wanted to get coffee. She responded that her son was feeling really needy and she wanted to spend time with him. But if I was willing to come over, she had a coffee maker. I told her it was about her son. She said it was okay. He could go to his room for a little bit and we could talk on her terrace. So I came over, she made a good cup of coffee, and we hung out awkwardly for a moment before I asked her why she lied to me. After getting her master's, Emily started getting involved with her son and with a new guy. On their first date, she told him she had a son, and apparently he posed a threat to her son's safety, and it almost caused her sister to completely ban her from visiting. Emily said it mattered too much to her to let it happen again, and she's been trying to give herself a time period where she can figure out if someone's safe to be around him or not. She said she waited too long, and she apologized sincerely. Okay, so knowing that context, that changes the whole game. And as this guy, I would be so much more understanding. Could you move that mic over a little bit? Guys, we got Dakota back.
Yeah, so would I. I would also be that way. Yes, I would.
But after learning this information, I would be like, okay, I now see through the lens you're seeing through, and I agree with you. I think it is for the child's safety. I told her I need a little bit more time to think, and then I said bye to her and her son and just went home. I'm still conflicted. Yikes. And we got another update. After just hearing this information, I don't know if I'd be conflicted. I'd probably be like, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, once it's not like it's like, oh, I was like hoping you'd never find out, or like, oh, like, you know, my concern would be like, oh, so what are you, like a scumbag parent? Because it's like, I couldn't date somebody who's like a scumbag to their own kids.
Well, she's not a scumbag. She worked really hard.
No, clearly. Clearly it's the opposite of all of that from what you described. So, you know, I think maybe that's a file it away type of moment. Clearly, she kept her kid from you for 2 months.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of an omission. I wouldn't know if I'd call that a straight up lie. If you'd asked her and been like, do you have kids? And she said no, then that's one thing.
Yeah.
But she was doing it for a good reason. I don't know.
For her son's safety.
I wouldn't say that's a deal breaker at all. I think the biggest deal breaker is just like whether or not you are someone who could date someone who has a kid.
Yeah, and are you ready to be that parental figure in a child's life?
Can you step up in a way like that? Like,
update. I'm surprised I remember the password to this account, but I'm back. It's probably been a while. I don't even know how long. I just got all the help and kindness I received, and why not update? I'm still with Emily.
Let's go.
I went forward with the idea that Emily and her son are a package deal in mind, and it's kind of been a weird process since we get along really well, and I've found that I'm lucky to have this kid in my life. He's funny, mature, intelligent, and witty, but at the same time, he's not my kid, and he never will be, and that's something hard to navigate. It's hard to even describe the feeling of loving this kid and feeling like a dad, but never being and feeling like you can't be one. But I try. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Emily can testify to the tears, but it's so worth it. A few weeks after I found out about him, Emily told me her son was getting picked on because he didn't have a dad to do father-son activity at school with. I decided to go, sort of just to scope out how that sort of felt, kind of thing. The look on his face got rid of every question I've had, every doubt, or regret. Emily and I are in counseling. We found out shortly after I posted that Emily is pregnant, and we are twice blessed in that it's twin girls.
Oh. Whoa. Well, there's your kids right there.
There we go.
Those ones are yours.
There were a lot of emotions, and we both knew that. It was a weird situation, and we haven't been dating that long. So we went to see a counselor. Sometimes Emily's son joins us, but it's mostly us learning how to be our best for her son and our daughters and each other. We've been definitely testing each other some days, but with this pregnancy has put a strain on every relationship we have. Her son moved in, and they are stepping on each other's toes. I moved in, and we're all learning our new boundaries and new bonds. And by the way, if you want a new bond or just to keep this bond good and going, go to your favorite freaking podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime. What's waiting there for him, Dakota?
48 days worth of stories for you to spend your time listening to.
It's hard. There's a lot of stupid mistakes I regret making now. I'll regret more in 5 years. If I had a time machine, my current knowledge, I might have put distance where I didn't. But for right now, I'm happy to be with my girlfriend and her son, waiting for a little Mila and Lorelei. This is teaching me how to be a good dad, a good partner, and a good human.
Amelia and Lorelei. That was Lorelei. I had to know what that name was.
I am learning coping skills for so many things in my life, and I'm just learning how to be okay. This is a situation a lot of people would shake their head and say, poor guy. I'm really blessed, and I'm really thankful. Thanks for helping me out, everyone. And that is the end of that story.